You see Oziko Williams about to take strike for the first time in this game. Right away, he opts for a big swing down the ground. He gets a single, he's off the mark.
Yes, these two will be looking to put on a good partnership today. And the opening partnership is very important, no less. Fortunes.
Marvelously played by Sunil Ambris. Excellent placement from him.
Yes, that one was too short by Javi, and he'll be kicking himself for that one. Gave him Sunil a room, and he was able to punch that one past the man at extra cover for 4, all on the ground. Well executed shot.
Yeah, you can't be bowling those short deliveries so early in the innings to such a batsman, especially. He'll be looking to get back into form, him and his team. So you've got to try and maintain a proper line and length early on. Huge appeal, and he's been given. Post wicket, very important wicket of Sunil Ambris.
And there we say it's a massive wicket for the Asufre Hikers. And he was on the cut shot again. This one was just short outside the off stump, as you see there from the replay. And adjudged to be out by umpire Bayam.
He didn't seem too pleased with the decision, but from out, and that's an early breakthrough for the Asufre Hikers. A key wicket, one they would have wanted early, and success for the Asufre Hikers in the first over.
Yes, and the Salpan Breakers will be kicking themselves, and they'll be. You look at the disappointment from the captain there, Ambrose. Doesn't look too pleased with the decision, and you know they would be feeling very aggrieved at that decision there by umpire Bayam. But Oziko Williams is joined by Andrew Thomas, the new batsman at the wicket.
It's a badly line delivery. We'll run close to the boundary, but the fielders will stop it. Another delivery should be bowled in after picking up such a wicket in your previous ball.
Yes, he'll be very disappointed with that. Well, the left-hander just came on strike, and you could see there he still has the line to the right-hander. So he didn't make the adjustment quick enough, Harry, on that occasion.
Smacked for 6 runs, first 6 of the day from Andrew Thomas, but that was a pretty short ball from Harry.
Yes, it was a short delivery. Andrew, just his second delivery, and he has come out in a no-nonsense mood. Quite a capable batsman, very talented. You would be disappointed with his return so far in the tournament, and also even in his career so far, he had the potential to be a very good batsman, not just locally, but beyond that. And so at this stage, he'd want to come out and prove a point here today. And he dispatched that one quite easily over.
Um, 19 runs, but I think getting that key wicket of Sunil Ambris, the last three hikers can forgive the bowler a little bit there. You see Otney Lewis about to come into the attack. He broke a record in his last game. He'll be hoping to continue. And starts off with a short ball that was beautifully placed by Oziko Williams for 4 runs.
Yes, and if we look at the replay, as we see here, it was shortish outside the off stump. Ball, and he was in the gap, well placed, rolling away for 4 runs.
The last
very good execution.
The last three hikers, we've got to get their lines early on here. You got the key wicket of Sunil Ambris. You need to put pressure on the Salpon breakers. And we see Otney Lewis opting for a fuller delivery after being punished from that shorter ball. So as I've been saying, you know, they've got to find their lines and lengths early on to these batsmen. They have to create pressure. Quick single is taken there.
It was a sharp single and a direct. It might have been quite interesting. Williams is quite quick between the wickets, so he would have been confident that he would have been a ground, but a direct hit would have had him worried there.
Another short delivery, and that's marvelously pulled from Oziko Williams. Too short from Otney Lewis.
Yeah, that was a poor delivery by Otney. And you mentioned in the last game he bowled 2 maidens in his 2 overs, but look at that, he's pulled down 2 very short. That's extremely short. That's a hit me delivery, and that's really not good enough from Otney. We know he is better than that, and of course Oziko Williams was not complaining. He was into his wicket and pulled that nicely over mid wicket for 6.
Well bowled. That's a much better delivery from Otney Lewis.
That is a delivery that has been causing some problems throughout the tournament. He's getting the ball to drift away, and also when he pitches it moves slightly away from the right-hander. And it's a very difficult delivery to deal with, especially on a length from such a tall spinner.
And there you go again. You saw that they had this slip in for him early, but they had to take out the slip after he was pumped for 6 runs. But lovely bowling from him in the last 2 deliveries of the over. Despite the loss of the wicket, the Salpon breakers, they have what you will call a flying start here. 31 off 2 overs.
Yes, they are going at 15.5 runs an over, which is breakneck speed, especially on this wicket. And the Lasso Frey hikers so far have only themselves to blame because they have solved up quite a few short stuff. They've solved up quite a bit of short deliveries, which have been easily dispatched, especially on the slow wicket. The shorter you bowl, it tends to just stay there and say, hit me.
Yeah, we saw how the Dark Grey Explorers, their bowlers went about the wicket, their slower bowlers, how they went about, how they approached their bowling innings. in the previous game. They opted for variation. They kept the ball closer to the batsmen, and they were quite successful. So the last three hikers, they need to get their lines going and their lengths, and they need to start working on their variations early if they are to restrict the salpon breakers to anything less than 100.
So we see that Thomas is calling for a helmet because there's a change in bowling. Stapleton, the highest wicket taker of the tournament, comes into the bowling, Stacey.
Yeah, good move here from the captain. I guess he's looking to take a wicket early. And of course, after the amount of runs they've had in the last 2 overs, he will be hoping to pull back the scoring rate of the salpon breakers. Good start from Stapleton.
Yes, that was a good delivery. It's on a length, just outside the off stump. Calmly played by Thomas, and they were able to rotate the strike. So 32, they move on to Thomas on 8, and Williams on 12.
What I've seen of Stapleton so far in the tournament is he's a leader wicket taker, but he's been quite inconsistent. I've seen him being pumped for a few, and then other games he's quite inexpensive. So it's been quite a mixed bag from him in the tournament. So let's see which Stapleton shows up here today.
Yes, that is true, and that can happen sometimes in the short fixtures if you're a bowler. You can be collared, but he has recovered well on most occasions after such encounters.
Nice lifting delivery there from Stapleton. You mentioned the bunks. You've been seeing a bit of bunks on the surface so far throughout the day, and it continues.
Yeah, but it seems to be a little bit of a slow bounce. It seems a little more tennis ball-like. So it tends to loop up off the pitch, which is why when it's short for the pull, it tends to give the batsman a lot more time to get it away.
Missed out there from Oziko Williams. And yeah, that's why there's no room for short pitch deliveries on this surface. You've got to get it up to the batsman. Can't bowl short at all on this pitch. Quick single taken, direct hit, and he's gone. And really good fielding there. Is that OJ Matthews? Really good fielding from young OJ Matthews.
Yes, when he played the shot, he hit it nicely, but he hit it too close to OJ. And he was off for the single, but he was taking that big risk there because he has been looking good so far at the wicket as we see the replay. But OJ is a very good fielder, and the direct hit.
Miles out. He looked upset. Maybe he was upset with himself.
Yeah, I think he was upset with himself for calling that one through. And you look at where he plonked the bat into the crease there. He didn't run it in either. So even if the bowler had gathered that and hit it onto this and taken it onto the stump, he still would have been run out because he didn't run his bat in.
Yeah, really good fielding from OJ Matthews. It was firmly struck, as you noted, and he was able to get in quickly and just throw down the stumps at the non-striker's end, which brings Rickford Walker to the crease. He looked good in his last 2 innings, batting late down, so he'll be hoping he can stick out there and bat through the rest of the overs for his team. Again, another quick single attempted, but successful.
Yeah, maybe the bowler could have left that for the man at extra cover coming into the ball there because I think that would have been a chance for a run out.
Indeed so. What good over so far from Stapleton. Just 2 of his 5 deliveries. He'll be hoping he can get out of this over. not producing any boundary balls to the new batsman, Rickford Walker.
Walker's looked good so far in the tournament. He hasn't had the best of VPL 2.0 and 1.0. But as we would say with the theme for the tournament is that he's rising from the ashes, definitely.
Plays that one. Firmly struck to the long on fielder, Dylan Douglas.
You could see there with that last delivery, Stacey. He didn't really put anything into that shot and he was almost caught at long on. So he has been timing the ball quite well in this tournament. He just barely jammed down on that one and it almost went all the way down to the long on fieldsman.
34 for 2 after 3 overs. As we see, Otney Lewis is about to continue. He found his range in the last 2 balls of his previous over. So he'll be hoping he can continue from that.
And just a note there that Bennington's over went for 3 runs. So you were asking which Bennington Stapleton would show up today. So far, he has shown up as the one who is the leading wicket taker in the tournament.
Yeah, great stuff there from Stapleton. He needs to continue for his next over to come. As you see, Otney Lewis, he's about to continue. The slip is back in. As you see, they have the long off and the long on fielders out. Strong offside field as he brings another man over into the cover region. This one is played down the ground, not time from Rickford Walker, and he'll be happy not to have timed that because that could have gone straight into the long off hands.
Yes, it was a back on length delivery. He was looking to punch it down the ground. It's cramped a little bit, but you take the single.
This one is pulled straight to Dylan Douglas, and he takes a good tumbling catch there. Good plans from the Lassifree Hikers today. As you see, they opted to have the mid-wicket back for the left-hander, and it played right into their hands as he's been caught by Dylan Douglas right there.
Thomas will be disappointed with that because the delivery was fairly short. He got back onto his back foot going deep in his crease to pull that one. And really, he just hit it straight to Dylan. And he also hit it flat. He didn't get the elevation that he needed to get. And even if he had hit it flat, but in the gap, then he would have gotten 4 runs. So he will be disappointed with that. They're now 3 down the Salt Pan Breakers.
Yeah, as you see, young Tijon Pope, he strides to the crease. They're 35 for 3. Him and Rickford Walker, they've been finishing off the innings quite well, but they have some repair work to do here.
Yeah, and he also had the option of either hitting that for 6 by getting under it or rolling the wrist over it all the way and keeping it on the ground. So in the end, he did neither, and he was caught half and in between.
It's another left-hander. The plan stays the same for left-hander Tijon Pope. Good stop from the fielder and the cover in the cover region. Yeah, good recovery from Lewis after his first 4 balls went for 12 runs. And he's been bowled. Oh my, what's happening with the Salt Pan Breakers here today, Allenson?
Yeah, I'm looking at the shot that Pope played, and when he goes back and probably has a look at this replay sometime later on this evening, he will not be very pleased with that, and he shouldn't be. That was a horrible shot if you want to really just look at it. The context of the game, 3 wickets down, you have just faced 1 delivery, you punch it straight to extra cover, fair enough. You know, haven't gotten a run. But then you go for an almighty swipe basically on the off stump. That ball was hitting the top of off, a good delivery on a good length. You have to show that ball some respect. And even if you didn't want to defend it because it's a 10 overs fixture, of course, you want to get the runs going, then you punch it straight and see if you could get a single.
Oh, we spoke about earlier about the teams batting first on this middle track. They seem to think they need to get a huge total, like 110, 120, when really 80 plus is a good score on the wicket. I think the assessment is wrong for the teams batting first. From what we've seen so far in the tournament on this particular track in the middle.
Yes, and if you over strive in terms of the rate that you want to go at, you can fall quite short of that and end up with 60 odd as we saw this morning.
You see Kenzie Joseph, he's in the wicket. Interesting to note, he batted at 3 in the last game, I think. And he's now at number 6 rather.
Shot.
Excellent straight shot. Great composure from Rickford Walker, hitting that one nicely down the ground for 4 runs.
Yeah, that was too full from Lewis. He got a little greedy after getting a wicket in the over. Probably looking for another. But that one was very well played with a straight bat, high left elbow. And he showed a full face, getting it down the ground for 4 runs, as we see the replay here. You were talking about Joseph, and you were speaking of the fact that he batted quite early in the last game. One thing in the last game, but given the pitch that they're playing on today, I think his approach would have benefited the team at that stage in this game, where they would want to keep wickets in hand for the latter half of the overs.
Yeah, as you see, after the power play overs, they're 40 for 4. Sunil Ambris going early in the first over. He scored 9 of 4 deliveries. Oziko Williams, he was run out, 12 of 9 deliveries. Andrew Thomas, he was caught by Douglas, bowled Lewis, 9 of 5 deliveries. Tijon Pope, bowled by Lewis for duck. Rickford Walker is at the crease along with Joseph. Rickford is 6 of 3 deliveries and Joseph is 1 of 1.
Yes, and bowling for the Lassufre Hikers. The 2 bowlers that have been used so far, well, 3. Harry had 1 over 1 for 19, taking the wicket of Ambrose. Lewis had 2 overs, 2 for 18. And the Stapleton, his solitary over. So yes, not taking a wicket, but has gone for only 3 runs. And wickets have fallen at 10, as straight a cluster. And they would want to ensure that they do not keep up that trend by having a partnership here.
As you see, Stapleton continues. Despite losing 4 wickets in the power play, it's not a good look for any team, but they have 40 runs on the board. They're scoring at 10 runs and over.
Yes, and in this case, they would prefer to have 100 for 9 than 90 for 4. But yeah. They also have to be very careful that they do not get bowled out here.
As you see, that one is played out to square leg for a single. But these 2 batsmen, what they should be looking at is doing a repair walk for their team. Because they're 41 for 4, they're 42 for 4 rather, after 4.2 overs. What they should be looking at is walking the ball around, as my co-commentator Jerome Dick would allude to. Hitting the ball, getting singles, getting 2s, and then go big at the back end of the overs. That looked pretty close. But we see that they're trying to get the singles.
That one, no signal was made by the umpire, so deemed to have come off the bat. Some inside edge there. Also seemed to be pitching outside the leg stump. So 4 fielders back on the onside, Stacey. Offside ring with a man on the sweeper cover boundary.
Oh, Oh my, what a huge hit from Rickford Walker. And it's what we've been talking about. Just waiting on the bad deliveries. And Bennington Stapleton, he delivered a pretty bad one there. A full toss. Easy put away for Rickford Walker.
Yes, and we spoke about Rickford. He's an opening batsman in local cricket. And in the last 2 editions, he would have been very disappointed with his output. And we mentioned that when we were on commentary in the last edition and the first edition that, you know, we would expect more from him. And he's coming up. He's showing what he's worth in this tournament.
Now that's a wide delivery, and that might possibly run away for 5 wides, as we've seen 5 wides.
So Stapleton needs to be very careful here. You mentioned although he's taking a lot of wickets, he's quite inconsistent. He reminds me a little bit of Dwayne Bravo. Not so much in how he has gone in 2020, but when he used to play the 50 over game. You know, it's a lot of experimentation, and so the consistency can be absent at times.
That 5 wides of 50 came up for the Salt Pond Breakers. Inside edge this time. One should have been a single. Turns into 2 runs. The Lassifree Hikers, they have the 4 wickets back in the hut for the Salt Pond Breakers. Key wicket of Sunil Ambris. But they're not playing really good cricket right now, because we've seen they've been serving up bad deliveries, and we've seen some wides. And this one, again, short delivery, pulled excellently from Rickford Walker.
And we're looking at this over from Benetton as it comes to an end, and I would say it's a very disappointing over, because having the Lassifree Hikers more or less on the back foot, all you needed to do, instead of going for, well, I'm told he went for 22 runs in this over. All he needed to do is to be bowling a good line, a good length, ask the batsman to make the initiative, don't give them freebies to get them into their innings. We saw some full tosses, we saw some short deliveries, and they have been dispatched, and he will be very disappointed with that, and he should be. And I'm sure Coach Warwican will be having a lot to say to him after this innings.
Yeah, the captain would be really disappointed as well, having picked up 4 wickets early within the power play. As you see, young Oj Matthews, he's about to take up the attack from the Beckway end. He's going to be bowling to Joseph, who has just been a spectator at the other end to Rickford Walker. And I think he should just be looking to get in a single here and getting Rickford Walker on strike to keep the pressure on the Lassifree Hikers.
Yeah, knowing him, I expect something like that from him in terms of his approach.
And that's been pulled away, and Rickford Walker is now back in strike. What sort of approach do you think Rickford Walker will take in this over? Do you think he'll go after the youngster, or just knock it around, because he has 5 overs to go, and they have 63 runs rather?
Well, I think what Rickford should do is that, of course, if he gets a bad ball, he puts it away. But in the meantime, just see how many he can get without taking too many risks.
Well, that was a sharp ball that deserved to be punished, but just a single.
Yes, you wouldn't mind that at this time. 64 for 4, 5.2 overs. They're going at exactly 12 runs and over as he comes to have a little chat with Joseph. Probably just reinforcing, let's just knock it around. If you get a bad one, well, then you put it away. And let's see how we can keep this going.
And it's played in the air, in the gap. They scramble back for 2 runs. The Lassifree Hikers, they've got to find a way they probably need to have a little chat. Need to have a little chat in the middle, maybe, talk about getting their lines right, maybe bring back some confidence to the bowlers. Oh my, that's a marvelous hit. Huge hit. Mammoth from young Joseph.
Yeah, and Kensley, he can hit the ball. He's an opening batsman, although he's not opening in this competition. And that one was very short from OJ and really deserved to be hit. So as I said, if you get a bad ball, of course, by all means, you hit it away. But you don't have to take any on the risk right now with your team 4 down. See how much you can go.
Not a short ball. This one is in the air. It's all the way for 6. Deliveries. See the skip is coming up to, well, I see Dylan Douglas is coming up to have a word with him. Another half-break bowler.
And I dare say if he continues to bowl this length, he will come in for some serious punishment, especially from these 2 batsmen in particular. Kenzie Joseph is a tall man. He stands tall at the crease, and so he's able to punch the ball hard off the back foot.
Thinking about it. Where do I bowl to him?
So just bowl a good length and a good line. Top of off.
And again, another 6. Excellent shot. 3 6s in a row from Joseph.
Yes, he bowled that one a little fuller, but again, Joseph now after striking 2 lovely shots down the ground, it's an area that he's strong in. He's strong straight down the ground. I've seen him as a youngster. He's from Diamonds Village, which is not very far from where I live. In fact, my father is from Diamonds Village initially. So I know him, and he is a man likes to hit the ball down the ground. And that one was a little too full, just a little too full of the length that he really should have gotten. So he erred a little bit too much in terms of making an over adjustment to the shorter ones he had bowled before.
Now, Allenson, look at the scorecard. 4 overs ago, they were 40 for 4, and probably feeling it. Sunil Ambris back in the hut, and they lost 2 quick wickets in 1 over. Now they're 84 for 4.
Yes,
and just 6 overs have gone.
Yes, with 2 overs that went for about 20 runs. So that is how the game can change very quickly, and that's why sometimes you need to say, well, if you're in the top order batting, you keep your wickets intact, because you could say to yourself, well, I have the skill as a top order batsman. I have the ability. If I am there at the end, I may be able to take a bowler for 20. And so, shouldn't panic, especially when batting first, you see, because if you need 20 runs of an over when you are batting second, the pressure may get to you. But if you want to take 20 off an over when you're batting first, it's a completely different ball game as BB comes into the attack.
Yeah, he's replacing Anson Latchman today. Let's see what he has in store for us. Hopefully no more short balls. The last of the hikers will be hoping. See, he's opting to bowl a wide line and length to the batsmen. You see the field is set for that. They have the 3rd man back. They have a man out at cover. They have a long off. And they have a long on as well as a deep mid wicket.
So they have just brought up the 50 partnership with that single off. Only 16 deliveries, going at well over 15 and over in this partnership.
Shot in the gap, but he'll only get 1. But we see the confidence coming through here for young Joseph after smacking 3 6s in the previous over.
Yes, and this is something that the breakers will be happy to see, because he plays well in the local competition. I mean, of course, this competition is now an international one with all the viewership. So now that he has the confidence of having struck a few boundaries, you see him expand in terms of his stroke play.
Comedy of errors there from a Mario BB.
Yeah, that can happen at times. When you're too eager to release the ball, sometimes that can happen if you don't have it firmly in the hands.
Let's look at that replay again, please. Didn't that hit into the pads and popped up in the air? Let's have that replay again. After this delivery. Well bowled from Romario. Yeah, let's look at the previous delivery. Let's see what really happened there. Oh my, and he didn't go for the catch. Look at that. That was hit into his boot and that popped up. A missed chance there from the Lassuveri Hikers. Nice shot from Joseph. Confidence. You see the confidence beaming for the young man, and he marvelously played that one to the cover area, but just for one.
And that is something that I was mentioning, Stacey. He likes the drive. He's good on the drive, and so you generally want to pull a length back just a little bit against him, but you don't want to be bowling too short either.
Excellent. Marvelous shot. Commentators all have speeches here. Jerome Dick.
So should I give my mic to Jerome?
No, he won't have anything to say. He was in awe of that shot.
Yes, that was a very good shot there by Rickford Walker. Into the pads was Bibby. And these two batsmen now are actually looking quite ominous for the Lassuveri Hikers in this partnership, because both of them are now beaming with confidence, and they're striking the ball well on both sides of the wicket, and it could be something quite devastating here in the last 3 overs if they're not separated.
I'm saying a few overs ago we were thinking, oh, they might barely get to 100. Now they're looking at 100 and plenty here, Allenson. 94 for 4 after the 7th over. Walker is on 30 of 11 deliveries, and Joseph 26.
Change in the bowling, young Straw being introduced, Cameron Straw. And he'll be bowling from the Beckwith end. He'll be bowling to Kenzie Joseph, who has 26 of 11 deliveries, who is being slightly outdone by Rickford Walker, who has 30 of 11 deliveries. Both of them striking at well over 200 runs per 100 balls, but just shy of 300 runs per 100 balls in the case of Walker.
He'll be looking to catch up in this over. Rickford Walker, he had the benefit of facing the last delivery. He got a 6. So I think Joseph will be looking to play catch up here. As you see, 4 fielders back on the onside boundary. No one in the circle saving 1 on the onside.
And this is where the batsman now will look to maybe go over extra cover or mid-off.
A big swing and a miss from Joseph.
You will think he missed out on that one there, Kenzie, because with the feel, with the absence of a long off, and that one was quite full, then he would have said to himself, it's good, it would have been right in the slot for me to go over the top down the ground.
Yeah, it's important for the Lassuveri Hikers to get their plans right here, because they have 4 men on the onside boundary. They have the fine leg. Now they're bringing up the fine leg. I see they're bringing up the fine leg. They're sending back the 3rd man. Okay, they brought in the fine leg and the square leg fielder, and they're sending back the long off and the 3rd man. That was extremely wide, not in the plans of the team, but I guess they asked him to bowl a wide length, a wide line to the batsmen, according to how the field is set.
Yeah, but he'll have to make sure that he's still within the wide tram line that is there, that red line as we see on our screen just wide of the batsman to make it a legal delivery.
And yet again, another wide delivery.
They accidentally a bit too much of the young man for him to consistently pitch on or around that wide line. Should he try to bowl it straighter, especially with the leg side being into the wind. Also, you're taking out the opportunity for a dismissal, which is, I think, what they would need here to get rid of these two batsmen and to stem the flow of runs.
It's a good shot. Yeah, and you see there, he bowled two wides and he opted to go straighter, which could have played into the hands of the Salpon breakers had Joseph connected with that shot, because you see the square leg and the fine leg is up. All he needed was to get some batting onto that shot and place it, and that could have been a boundary.
Yes, so the field is not really set for him to bowl straight. And let's see how he goes here.
It's high in the air, Dylan is under it, and he takes an easy catch to dismiss Rickford Walker. But job well done from Rickford Walker. 30 of 12 deliveries.
Yes, and the Lassafray Hikers will be breathing a big sigh of relief, although Dylan Johnson is walking to the wicket, who we know can strike the ball. So if today is his day and he gets off, then there could be more carnage here in this innings. But they'll be breathing a big sigh of relief. Rickford, as we mentioned before, he is an opening batsman in local cricket in the Premiership, and he has a lot of ability, and we were disappointed. He seemed to be low on confidence, and in this edition he has come out with purpose, and he has played the ball on its merit, and he has played conventional cricket shots, and he has been doing very well for his team thus far.
Yes, after he was demoted from opening, because he was opening early on in the tournament, and he got a demotion, and he's been doing pretty well coming in at the back end of the innings.
I think a lot of it is confidence, and to be honest, I think if he opens now, he will still make runs, because at this point he's feeling good about his game.
Indeed, I agree with you. You see Joseph high on confidence. Too much confidence from the youngster, but better ball from Straw.
Yeah, that's the wrong way he should be aiming to be. Also that length, because if he goes a little too full, if he goes fuller, he'll be inviting the drive. And if the extra cover is beaten on that drive, then that will speed away very quickly to the boundary.
Too full this time, but they have somebody at the sweeper cover to field that delivery.
Yeah, that one was quite full and could have gone, but just the execution was not what Kenzie Joseph wanted on that occasion.
One more ball in this over. We have the left-handed Dylan Johnson to take his first strike. I see some changes to the field. It appears as if they're gonna try and continue with this line of attack wide to the batsman.
Yes, they'll try to angle this across Dylan Johnson.
Good finish to the over from the young man after bowling two wides earlier, and he finishes with 1 for 5 in his first over. Good comeback, but 99 for 5. Not where I expected them to be at this point in time.
99 is actually already a good score, I think. Not that I would say that they have enough, because the Lassafray Hikers batting, we already know how devastating they can be, especially at the top of their order. But 99 is already a good score, and maybe they'll be searching to see if they could get to 120 from here on, which will be formidable.
Yeah, 99 for 5 on this wicket, but it was a lot of short balls, Alanson, a lot of short deliveries, and the Salpon breakers, they did not miss out.
Absolutely. especially from the spinners. We saw a lot of short deliveries from the spinners, which wasn't very good at all. And the breakers batsmen were able, for the most part, to get those over the ropes for 6.
Smack high in the air, and that's gone all the way for 6. Excellent shot from Delon Johnson.
So will Dillon come to the party today? I mean, look at that one. Still hasn't gotten it off of the middle of the bat, but it has gone a long way. And if he hits it hard and he hits it off the middle, I would tell you it will go about 100 meters. Easily. Very strong man, tall man, and able to hit the ball very far, even from the time he was a youth. When he was a youngster in school cricket, he was even able to hit the ball very far from those early stages of his career. So 100 up, 8.1 overs. How far you think they'll get to Stacey?
Well, they have 105, and Delon Johnson, he only has one job here, and that's to go after the bowling. And as we've seen from that first delivery, that's what he intends to do. So I'm looking at about 120, 125 if he gets going here, possibly more.
Yeah, if he gets going, I think they will get to 130.
He was looking to hit that so far.
I think we all felt the breeze up in the commentary box from that shot. From the swing of the bat. Yeah, he was aiming something massive there. And I'll tell you, if that comes off the edge, it's going to fly over third man for 6.
Yeah, but he's got to keep his shape still. And massive shot from Delon Johnson. As I was speaking about keeping his shape and keeping his eye on the ball, he's got to still keep his shape and keep his eye on the ball in order for it to travel. And he saw that one. He saw that one quite well as he launched it over the mid-wicket boundary for 6. 1-1-1 for 5.
Yeah, Bibi is under some severe pressure here. His last over, he conceded quite a few runs, and this time, he's bowling to Johnson, and so far he has bowled 1.3 overs and he's gone for 22 runs. So he's under some pressure here. Let's see how he responds to this onslaught. This time the pull shot goes straight to the man at mid-wicket. And
Delon Johnson, it's okay. Delon Johnson's probably kicking himself. He will feel that delivery should have gone.
Yeah, it had the length for him to get under. And into the wind or against the wind, it doesn't really matter with somebody like Johnson. Has enough power to hit the ball, to clear the ropes even into the wind.
And you see Joseph is about to take strike for the first time in this over. Nicely struck down the ground, almost taking out his partner, Delon Johnson, at the other end there.
Yeah, at this stage of the innings, it is like when you have a clearance sale at a big store, the persons go around and shout, "Sale, sale, everything must go."
Everything must go. And we see the way Delon Johnson is playing. He's only thinking that everything has got to go.
Let's see how Bibi finishes the over.
Oh no, put down, and it goes for 4. After being smacked for 2 sixes, you've been let down by your keeper.
Yeah, and I said 130 or thereabouts if he stays, and he's proving that to be the case, and he may even exceed that. The highest score of the tournament so far is 138 made by the Salpan Breakers in their second game. And you saw there Salvan putting that one down. Not as young as he used to be. About 40 years of age there, thereabouts, or in excess of that. And so he'll be disappointed with that. And how costly will that prove to be for the Lasso-Frey Hikers in this last over with Johnson still at the wicket?
Well, let's see. Young Joseph, he's on strike now, but he's been hitting them pretty nicely, and he's full of confidence right now, so he'll only be looking to go as well.
Yes, the batsman will be checking for 6 first from every ball, and then counting downwards from that. So if they can't get a 6, they will look for 4 and so on, and count downwards.
Swing and a miss. Good start from bowler Straw.
Yes, that's a good that's a good length that he just bowled there. It's a good line as well. He's getting the ball to drift away a little bit, move away from the right-hander. He's bowling with the wind coming across his right shoulder, and that is aiding that movement away.
Oh no, he's missed that. Bye.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, a good delivery from Straw, but now he has to contend with the left-handed Delon Johnson, who will be hitting with the wind.
An underarm throw might have actually defeated the batsman there and been a little bit more accurate. So you'll be disappointed with that. But it brings Delon back on strike for the next 4 deliveries, maybe, and this can be quite interesting and potentially dangerous for the hikers.
High in the air. Excellent catch from the captain, Desron Maloney.
Yes, and that was actually smart bowling by the young man. He was looking for the Yorker and probably got it just a little high, but he was bowling across the Delon. When Delon wants to hit the ball, he wants to go mid-wicket, he wants to go long on, he wants to go over square leg. Not that he cannot play through the offside, but definitely in this mood that he's in, he's clearing his front leg, his right leg, and looking to hit the ball hard over the leg side. So that was good execution there by the young man to take the wicket off Johnson.
As you see, Sian Sween comes out to have a knock. He's been hitting them nicely as well in the tournament for the Salt Pond Breakers. Joseph is on strike. He's 29 off 18. He'll be hoping that he can finish with a flurry of boundaries for his team in these last 3 deliveries.
Yes, and that last partnership was 21 from 12 deliveries. Most of the runs came from the bat of Johnson.
Excellent dead bowling there from Straw. Really, really nice bowling. A misfield allows them 2 runs.
The shoulders dropping slightly here for the Lassifrey hikers, because you're seeing a little bit of slappiness coming into their cricket in the last over or so.
It appears so, but they will have to pick themselves up because they have a huge total to chase down. Nice bowling, nice areas for the young man Straw. He has 1 more ball to finish in this over.
And Straw has 2 for 8 in the midst of an innings that has gone for 12 runs per over. And will that end up being a performance that comes to keep his side within contention?
Really good bowling, really good bowling from Straw. They hurry back for 2, so good running. Oh, has he been run out there? No, it appears as if he's made it. But an excellent spell of bowling from Straw. 2 overs, 10 runs, and 2 wickets.
Yes, that was a very good spell from Straw. He came on when his team were up against it a little bit. Score around 90 or so, with 3 overs to go. And he bowled the 8th over and the final over, the 10th over. And it was interesting to see, as we see from that replay, that a little bit of a fumble there from Brown, and it seems as if Sween was actually out of his crease when that action took place. So yes, we were saying that Straw, he has really, in my opinion, kept his team in with a chance, because if he had not bowled a good spell there, you could have seen maybe 140 or so being required of the 10 overs by the Hikers, which would have been a daunting task.
Yeah, the last 3 Hikers, they picked up 4 early wickets, and then they lost the plot at the back end of the innings, conceding 80 runs in the last 6 overs.
Well, remember that overs 4 to 6 actually went for over 40 runs. Overs, not 4 to 6, but overs 5 and 6, just those 2 overs, the score moved from 40 to 84.
As you see the score, Sunil Ambris, he was caught early. Bowled Harry, caught Oziko Williams. He was run out by Young Matthews. 12 of 9 deliveries. Andrew Thomas caught Douglas, bowled Lewis, 9 of 5 deliveries. Rickford Walker, excellent innings from him. Caught Douglas, bowled Shaw, 30 of 12 deliveries. Tijon Pope was unable to score. He was bowled by Lewis of 2 deliveries. Joseph, who steered the ship quite well, he was not out on 32 of 20 deliveries. Delon Johnson, he came in and added some impetus to the innings. Caught Maloney, bowled Straw of 18 of 7 deliveries. And Sween was not out along with Joseph, 2 of 1 delivery.
And bowling for the Lassifrey Hikers, you'd only look for one name there, and that would be Cameron Straw. It started off with Harry, who went for 19 off his first over. Of his solitary over, taking the wicket of Ambrose, but went for 19 runs. Otney Lewis, 2 overs, 2 for 18. In the end, within the context of the innings, a fair enough performance. Stapleton, whose first over went for 3 runs, his second over cost him 22 runs, and I think that is the over that got things going for the Saltpan Breakers, because I think he bowled the 5th over. Score at the time was 40 for 4, and then that went for 22 runs. And OJ Matthews, the next over, also went for 22 runs, and that got them from 40 for 4 after the power play to 84 for 4 at the 6th over, and that really pushed things on for them. Bibi, 2 overs, none for 28. Also came in for some harsh treatment in his last over. Cameron Straw, 2 overs, 6 dot balls, 2 for 10 amongst the carnage. Wickets fell at 10, 32, 35, 2 at 35. And I remember saying that at that time they needed a partnership in order to avoid a collapse. And they really got that between Rickford Walker and Joseph, who put on 62 runs for the 5th wicket. And then the 6th wicket fell at 118. So 123 for 6, Stacey.
It's a really good score by the Salt Pond Breakers. We're going to take a short break, and when we get back, the Lassifrey Hikers will have their reply.
It's a game of the people. Come on, let's play. Yeah. Bring your fight, bring your friends. Come out hard to defend. Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. From the ashes to the stadium. CPS, DJ. From the ashes to the stadium. CPS. With their hearts and their soul, they're not giving up, no. Dots and ball will collide. Hear them show spirits high. Bring your fight, bring your friends. Come out hard to defend it. Whoa, whoa. From the ashes to the stadium. CPL, C10. From the ashes to the stadium. CPL, C10. Hey. C10.
ITFX.
ITFX.
Be bold.
Be loud. Go live.
Anytime, anywhere. on the ground when you wine and go down, girl. And when you wine and come up and you stand back it up and you wine and
Good afternoon, and we're back, and what a lovely day we have here at the Annisville playing field. Lovely day and lovely cricket as the Lassufre Hikers, they're about to start their run chase against the Salpon Breakers. They are chasing 124.
Yes, they would need to get 124 runs, going to 12.4 runs and over, but they would need a very good start. Their top three is quite formidable, and they have been using Otney Lewis at 4, who has done well for them with the bat in this tournament. So they will need to get off to a very good start. They will need to have, I think, going into the last 5 overs or 4 overs or so, they would need to have lost no more than maybe a wicket or 2 in order to be in contention to overhaul these runs. Stacey, and of course, a good afternoon to all our viewers.
Yeah, chasing 124 after 4 overs. I don't think they were thinking that's a target that they would have been chasing. So how do you think they should go about to approach this run chase?
Well, they should have seen from the innings that just ended that you can get big overs at times. Of course, it's a little bit harder chasing because you have the scoreboard pressure, but you can get big overs. So do not give your wicket away. Do not lose heart if you get an over that is quite cheap or an over that is quite miserly from the bowlers. You're more than able to catch up, and they have the experienced players who can do so, who have the array and variety of shots that are required, and they just need to ensure that they're still in it around over 6, 7, 8 or so.
Yeah, and of course they were aided by some pretty ordinary bowling from the Lassufre Hikers. So of course the Salpon Breakers, they will be hoping their bowlers, they don't perform the same way. As you see, Samuel has the ball and he's about to bowl to Salvan Brown. Salvan Brown, who will be hoping he'll get a score here today, because he really owes his team Allenson.
Yes, he owes them some runs.
As well as there was a drop catch in the penultimate over as well from him. So he will be hoping that he can score heavily for his team here today. Cracking shot, but no run. And you see he's continuing in his very aggressive fashion in the way he plays. Quite an aggressive batsman.
So after seeing that first shot there, you saw the adjustment by Javon Samuel. He bowled that one quite straight, quite quick, because he realized that Salvan is willing to give his stump up in order to get some room to go over the offside.
Massive pull shot there, short delivery. You can't bowl that to Salvan Brown early on, and that's a good way to get off the mark, a good way to start his innings. He'll be feeling pumped up here, Allenson.
Yes, and after the last innings where he got a score around just about 40, I think he made 38 in his last game, he would be feeling a little bit more confident than he
big swing. Hope his hands are feeling alright, because those are some almighty heaves we're seeing from Salvan Brown all throughout the tournament. Not a big swing, but just a single.
He's an interesting kind of player. He's the type of player that will miss 3 or 4 balls in the over, and then when he connects the 3, he gets 18. So it's an interesting type of batsman to be bowling against. He will be beaten, and he will not be fazed by being beaten. He'll just keep going. And so they would want to see the back of him, because if he latches on to a few, then he will be taking up the run rate very quickly.
See Desmond Maloney Last ball in the over. Quite watchful from him, as he should be. As we mentioned before the toss, Desmond Maloney, he's a key batter in this side. You know, the last 2 games he was dismissed early, and they went on to lose those two games chasing. So he would need to bat as deep as possible for his team to get any chance of winning this game today.
Historically, for the last three hikers, we have seen that the fortunes from game to game have rested quite firmly on the back of Desmond Maloney's batting. Why do I say so? In the last edition, when they were champions, in the first few games, Maloney was looking a bit of devoid of confidence and searching for runs, and they were losing. And as soon as he had an innings of note, then it just permeated through the team, and they were able to go on a winning streak. So his fortunes are quite his performance are quite important to the fortunes of his team.
You see Sunil Ambris about to bowl from the Beckway end. He has been quite successful with the ball for his team. Usually picks up all the wickets. So let's see how Salvan Brong approaches him. And right away, an aggressive shot is offered. Swing and a miss. Seemed to be the way Salvan Brong's innings has been going in this tournament so far. A lot of swings and misses. And I've noted that they had a game where they could have won easily, but because he missed a lot of deliveries, there were a lot of dot balls, a lot of pressure on the other batters. So he needs to just watch the ball, keep his shape, and think he'll be successful after doing just that.
Yeah, the dot balls can be quite crucial. He will argue that if he hits 2, and then he gets dot balls off 4, that he has 12 off 6, but it's not always that when you make the connection that you're going to get 6 or boundary. And so dot balls can be quite costly.
Indeed.
And so far he has chewed up quite a few.
See an odd field placement here. They've opted for a long on, and the other batsman out is a point. Nice delivery there from Ambris, just going across the batsman.
Yes, Stacey, I think the feel is because he's just going to bowl just back of a length across him, and so he's putting down.
For 4.
Yes, that one, Salvan has the habit. He's not the tallest man by any means, but he also has the habit of crouching down to pull the ball. So he's able to pull deliveries that are not as short as are usually required by other batsmen. It can get him into trouble from time to time, but he also gets quite a bit of runs from those.
Not a short delivery. The fielder was put back there, but there's no catching that from him, as that was hit fiercely for 6 by Salvan Brong. 2 shots.
Yes, that was a very bad ball. The first one, he kind of made that into a pull by crouching low, but this one was an authentic short delivery, and you saw him there. He accepted it with glee as he hit it over mid-wicket for 6.
This is the Salvan we've come to know, and this is the Salvan the last 3 hikers will hope shows up here today, as he's 10 off 2 balls from Sunil Ambris. Marvelous shot, excellent placement from Salvan Brong.
Yes, and you saw that one was fuller. He adjusted his leg, but again, because of the field he's set, he doesn't want to straight, so he's pushing it across him quite wide. But Salvan is a man who has many shots. Sometimes his shot selection, you could bring it into question, but on that occasion, he was playing the shot that the ball required.
2 shot, missed out, and we see we see from the animation from Salvan Brown, he's pretty upset about missing that ball.
Yes, all of them are quite demonstrative, and I think him no less. Of course, his brother Shem, who we saw in action earlier today. You know, that's just how they are.
Yeah, you see, he's probably telling his captain that should have been hit over into the next ground, because that was indeed a very short delivery from Sunil Ambris.
Yes, expressing his dissatisfaction in himself there.
21 off 2. Desmond Maloney is taking strike. I think that's the right thing. Get Salvan Brown back on strike, because we see he's been in red hot form from the last over. So let's hope that he can continue in that vein. Excellent. Lovely placement from Salvan Brown, up and over the cover area, and that's 4 runs. He's looking the part here.
And this is something that we have not seen a lot in the power play from a lot of the batsmen. The use of the feet against the spinners, because many teams have been opening with the spinners, and are also going over the offside when looking to play aggressive shots. Many have been looking to the onside, and to their detriment.
What's important to note here is he's keeping his shape, and that's very important. Here we see again, stunning cut shot from Salvan Brown, and he gets 4 more. As I mentioned, he's keeping his shape. He's not trying to just power everything. He's picking his areas nicely, and amazing to see from Salvan Brown. What could be a return to form for him at a great time for his team.
Well, I'm telling you what, the way that the last stage of this tournament is setting up, you would not want to miss this weekend, because all the teams have batsmen that are coming into some good form.
Change of angle from Samuel.
And batsmen who could do some serious damage on basically all of the teams that you see likely to qualify here to the final stage. So the bowlers will be having nightmares going into the weekend.
Oh no. Unfortunate there, and they got 2 runs on that ball that was hit off the stump and ran away close to the boundary. 2 runs.
Yeah, there are many who feel that when that happens, that the ball should be called dead afterwards, because you kind of punish good feeling.
No, that's why you should have fielders backing up. Swing and a miss, but got back there quickly. Salvan Brown.
Yeah, on that note, someone was back. The 2 men were backing up, but because the ball ricocheted off the stump, it changed direction. So, defeated their backing up efforts. But Salvan is going after everything here, as you would expect from him. This approach is also important to Desmond Maloney. We have seen so far in the tournament, similar to Bascom, where he wants an aggressive partner because he wants to bat deep into the innings. And it gives him the chance to go maybe at a run a ball thereabouts for like the first 4 overs, the power play. And then if his partner falls, then he can take the man up, having already been in the wicket and knowing the bounce and the pace of the wicket and how things are going with the bowlers. So it's very important, not just for Salvan's own play here, his approach. Although we might say, well, he's going overboard sometimes, but that's just how it is. But it benefits his team in that it gives Desron an opportunity to settle at the wicket.
Yeah, it takes the pressure off him, and as the captain, it will allow him to think about how he's going to approach his innings and how he's going to get the runs, even if a wicket falls. You see, they're 32 without loss after 3 overs, and Salvan Brown has contributed 31 of those.
Yes. And we can see here that there's a 5-4 field, the 2 men out, fine leg and a deep square leg. So it seems as if we're going short, But he has to be careful here. Everybody is up on the offside. So it's pulled for a single.
Yeah, the offside field is quite packed. And you see they have the fine leg and the man at deep square as Salvan Brown comes into the attack. Is Salvan Brown known to be a batsman that loves short pitch bowling? He's going to pull it. He's going to pull it well.
He will go after it for sure.
Well,
yeah, he's not one to be ducking too often.
Well, it appears as if they know him well, so they've changed tactics and they've brought in the fine leg field and they've pushed back the man at third man. Sunil Ambris getting his field right here. Ooh. I think he would feel like he missed out. But it was a slower delivery. Good thinking from Dylan Johnson.
Yeah, and Dylan would try to mix up his pace, especially against Salvan. Mix up his pace, mix up his lines, his lengths, make sure that he's not predictable. Because Salvan is a man that when he's batting, if you look at his approach, if he sees 2 or 3 deliveries in the same area, then he's going to improvise to try to get the 3rd or the 4th one away.
Yeah, but a delivery like that, he doesn't have to look to go across. He can just wait on it and hit it up and over the cover field.
And that is something that if Dylan bowls continue to bowl that line and that length with the slow delivery, you will see it from him. So that's what I'm saying. After a delivery or 2 of the same thing, he will have a plan for the 3rd one.
Good ball in there from Dylan Johnson. As we've seen, another field change. They've sent young Tijon Pope onto the mid-wicket boundary, but he's maintaining a really nice line and length here to Salvan Brown.
Yes, that's good bowling so far, and that one touching them just outside the off stump and leaving the batsman. So making good use of the wind that is blowing across from his right shoulder to his left.
Nobody's there to catch that. But you see, I mean, Salvan Brown, he started off red hot in the 2 overs before. But again, we see him swinging, missing, dot balls are piling up. He's not looking for a single off a good ball. He's not looking to play that delicate touch that could probably get him 4 runs off that good delivery. So let's see how Maloney approaches this. There you go. You see Maloney, he was looking to hit that up and over, which is a good area that he should be aiming to hit. That would have brought him 6 runs had he connected.
Yeah, that's just something that Dylan has to be very careful with this field. The line of his back of the length and short deliveries, because there's no one back on the offside, and at his pace, half a bat will clear the men in the ring.
Excellent over to finish up the power play from Dylan Johnson. There's 3 runs coming from it.
Yes, and we're seeing the antics there by Salvan pretending he's going for the second just to get the batsmen, the fielders to keep throwing the delivery. See if he could get some overthrows. But at the end of the power play, you could see there Salvan is on 32 of 19, Desron 3 of 5. So 35 without loss, and the bowling for the Salpan Breakers.
Samuel 2 overs, 6 dots, but 18 runs. Sunil Ambris 1 over, 14 runs, no wickets, and Dylan Johnson, excellent over from him, 1 over, just 3 runs, and that's the end of the power play. 35 without loss. As we see, Hoyt is marking his run-up. I suspect that he's a bowler that they would have been thinking. They would think they'd have to go after this bowler if they had to get anywhere close to this target.
Yes, they would definitely be targeting him, but he's by no means an easy bowler to target. Although you have 2 batsmen who are more wanted within the tournament facing up against him now. He has been bowling quite effectively. He has bowled stump to stump. When asked to bowl the wide Yorkers, he has been doing them, has been executing them quite well. And he has proven to be a thorn in the flesh for the opponents of the Southern Breakers. Even at times, he has taken wickets on the losing cause, but he has been bowling to the plan that has been set by the captain. So the captain has no problems introducing him as soon as the power play finishes.
You see, he starts there with a wide delivery to Desmond Maloney, but Salvan Brown is on strike. And I'm thinking Salvan Brown is going to look to hit with the wind and go across to the onside field. But young Hoyt, he's bowling that offside line and length, which might play into the hands of the Southern Breakers if he looks to go across him and doesn't connect properly. There we see, this one is skied. I called the play, but they didn't get the wicket.
Yeah, so Salvan must also remember, of course, and as you saw him rehearsing on the offside shot, he can play through the offside, as you have seen. He cut away a nice one in the early part of the innings. So he has the shot. So although he is now well into his innings at just over 30, he needs to remember as well that he can hit the ball over the offside as well.
Marvelous. Well said, well executed from Desmond Maloney. It looked like it touched right on the rope, but let's see the replay here. The umpire called it 4, but it appears as if it was 6 runs. It's called 4 by umpire Byam. And this one is caught. Great catch from the fielder at the point region. And the bowling tactics of staying outside the off stump has worked here for the Southern Breakers.
So good neat catch there by Thomas. It was hit straight to him, but it was hit firmly, so it took a neat catch. Dismissing his police teammate, Desmond Maloney. But you're looking at that delivery, and I told you that if you look at the field that was set, it was clear that Hoyt was asked to keep the ball wide outside off stump. You had 2 fielders in the point region, you had a third man, and so he was told, keep that ball just wide outside off stump. And what was important, even if he had not gotten the wicket, is that he has been able to execute the plan that either he or his captain or his management have come up with. So he's been able to execute, and that is very important. That's what you want from your bowler. If you're a coach, if you're a captain, if you come up with a plan, that he'll be able to say, okay, Skip, okay, coach, I'll be able to do it.
Yeah, smart bowling from him, and one would wonder why Desmond Maloney didn't try to replicate the shot he played before, because it was a short delivery. He could have easily elevated that shot over the man at point, but I guess he was trying to hit it on the ground, play it along the ground, but it was hit firmly to the man at point.
Bounce. Huh? The tennis ball bounce.
Now that's a wide delivery. As you see, Dylan Douglas is in the crease. He too will be key to his team's chances of winning here today.
Yes, and that wide, I have been told, is the first extra for the Southern Breakers innings, so quite disciplined performance by them so far. And you were talking about why he didn't cut that ball over the top, but he was looking to cut it along the ground, and there has been some tennis ball bounce on this pitch.
Confident stroke there from Dylan Douglas. That sat up nicely, and he just picked his gap. Excellent.
Yeah, that was a dismissive shot. He is a batsman with some attitude, with some arrogance, batting arrogance, wants to stamp his authority every time he comes to the pitch. And he has done so. That was a very good shot. It was by no means a bad delivery, but he just swatted it wide of long on for 4.
I have no words. Massive shot from Dylan Douglas. And we see he's looking quite relaxed at the crease. He's hit the batsman for 4 runs and now 6.
Yes.
And Hoyt has no answers for him here. Let's see what he's going to come back with.
Yeah,
And that's the end of the over.
and we'll say that it's disdainful batting. He's hitting the ball. He has just come to the crease. He has faced one ball that was called wide. And next to deliveries, he has swatted it wide of long on for 4. And then he has gone flat batted the next one over long off for 6. And so he's 10 off 2 deliveries, striking at 500. And this is and he knows he owes his team a performance, especially after what has happened with the ball in his last 2 games. And he'll be hoping to add some impetus to this innings and hopefully to be there to get his team over the line.
Yeah, and what we're going to get from Dylan Douglas is a lot of timing and placement. So it'll be a good innings if he gets going here today. So wide delivery from Sunil Ambris, who has a heavily packed offside field on the boundary. 3 men on the rope on the offside. Good delivery, good follow-up delivery from Sunil Ambris.
Yeah, that was a better ball there from Sunil. Shortish, getting some bounce.
Smash through the covers, only get 1. And it's something I was about to say. I would like to see Dylan Douglas facing Sunil Ambris. I would want to see the approach he takes to Sunil Ambris in this over. Now we see he's now on strike. He has 4 deliveries in this over, and they have the same field set for him. 3 men on the offside on the boundary. And he opts for a single. Smart batting from Dylan Douglas, getting his innings going.
Yeah, smart batting. And it was also good bowling there because that one, the length didn't allow him to go down the ground, which is where I think Dylan would have gone with that if it were just a little shorter. He would have gone over long off or long on with a straight bat. Smart.
Clever bowling from Sunil Ambris. He saw the batsman coming. He left his crease quite early, and he was able to just pitch it wide, and Cian Twin was able to finish things off with a proper stumping.
Yes, that was good thinking there by Ambris. Always a thoughtful player. And Brown, you know, as you mentioned, he gave his intentions away quite early by leaving the crease before the bowler had released the delivery, and he was able to pitch this one quite wide, and it was a good take and stumping by Sween, who has been a little bit under some pressure given his performance with the gloves in his last couple of games. So that should help him out a little bit in terms of his confidence as we see Geese coming to the wicket. Otney Lewis.
Yeah, Otney Lewis has been sort of a bright spark for the Lasufre Hikers in their last 2 games that they've lost with both bat and ball. So hopefully he can do much of the same for his team here today with Dylan Douglas at the other end. They're by no means out of this contest.
Yeah, and these 2 batsmen are very familiar with each other. If you pass in Byron, you might be seeing them on the roadside from time to time. But they are very familiar with each other and should forge a good partnership. Of course, that would have had to be before the eruption of the volcano. I think some of them are displaced now.
Confident shot from Otney Lewis to get him off the mark.
Yes, they require about just over. I think my maths tells me about 67 runs.
Yeah, from 25 balls.
Yes.
By no means out of it. We know what Dylan Douglas is capable of, and I'm sure he will want to give a performance for his team here.
Well, they're waiting to have. You saw 2 20-run overs in the 5th and the 6th over of the innings of the Saltpan Breakers, and they would be wanting to have maybe 1 or 2 overs like that coming up, and that would bring the equation down to a manageable situation for them. And that is what they will want to have over the next 2 overs, or sometime between now and the 9th over, to have a 20 run over and over in excess of that, so that the equation becomes a little more manageable, where they require maybe between 10 and 12 or so runs in the last over.
Yeah, well, those 2 overs for 20 runs apiece. So we've seen much of that. We've seen a few, but not in abundance, as we've seen from the last 3 hikers, from the Salpon Breakers. As you see, Tijan Pope is coming into the attack early today. He was tasked with bowling the last over in their game. He couldn't defend 16 runs, so I would say that
24 runs off the over.
I would say that's a soft end to the over. Given all the entertainment we've seen, that's the best you could have given us, Dylan. But an excellent over for the last 3 hikers. They now need 42 of 18 runs, and they got that big over that you were talking about, that 24 runs over. Sorry, they need 42 runs from 18 balls.
And so this is a lot more manageable than when it was 66 from 24. So now 42 from 18. You know, they're well back into contention. They require trying to see how much that is mathematically. I think that's about 14 runs and over, and that's now well within the scope of possibilities, especially with Douglas going great guns.
And we see the Saltpond Breakers just sticking with their plans of bowling Dylan Johnson, who's a key bowler to their attack. They continue giving him the 8th over of the innings, which some people might say he'll be better suited to bowl the penultimate or the last over of the innings. Let's see if the plans will work here for them today, because it didn't work in the previous game. Otney Lewis is about to take strike. I think he should look to be given to strike to Dylan Douglas, as he did. See, they're hurrying. Okay, just a single. They need 41 of 17 balls. How would you play this, Allenson? Dylan Johnson, key bowler to this attack. Do you go after him, or do you just play him out and wait for the other 2 overs?
No, well, you need 41 or 17 deliveries, so there's no playing out of any bowler. Of course, if the ball is a good ball, then you still try to get a single or 2. But there's no playing out of anybody at this stage.
They must look to score off every delivery from here, whether it's a boundary or a single. They need to score off every delivery from here.
Yeah, that was a smart delivery from Johnson. Even though it had the length, it cramped him a little bit for room, and he jumped back to try to get the room, but he wasn't able to get the gap. So that's a bit of cat and mouse there between the two, but between Dylan and Dylan.
Well, the key thing to note here is, after Dylan Johnson, who are the bowlers that are going to bowl the 2 overs, the 2 remaining overs in the spell? That's something that they will have in the back of their mind. Who are you going to look to bowl the last 2 overs? A single. As we saw, Tijan Pope, he's usually entrusted with in the last 2 games, he was entrusted with the last over for the Salpon Breakers, but we just saw he was taken for 24 of his solitary over.
Yes, and they need 14 or 15 deliveries. They will want to come out of this over with these 2 still at the crease, and maybe to get between 5 and 10 of the last 3 deliveries.
Shot from Otney Lewis.
Yes, that was a marvelous shot, because in that case there was not much pace on delivery. It was a slower delivery, but he was able to generate the power on that, being a tall man, and punching it down the ground with a flat bat straight down the ground. That was a very powerful shot there by Lewis.
Powerful indeed. It's now 36 of 14 deliveries. As you see, the Salpon Breakers the ball hasn't been returned. A chance for the batsman to have a chat in the middle. I think he's just telling him to go here. It's free hits all from now on. Smartly played from the young man as he just waited on it and placed it over the middle fielder for 4.
Yes, that wasn't an easy shot by any means, because that delivery was a short delivery. He almost played what you call a tennis serve to that shot, because it was if it had beaten him, it would have been a wide, not just for the width but for the height, and he was able to hit over the top of that and get it over the man at mid-off. So very good shot there by Lewis.
This last delivery, and that's been pumped down the ground, powered down the ground for 6 from Otniel Lewis. What was I talking about before? No need to look at this bowler. Just go after him.
Well, if the last shot was remarkable, this one was outrageous, because you're looking at this ball. This ball is a short delivery. It is wide of off stump, and he was able to just basically give that a forehand cross court down the ground for 6. Some impressive batting here by Lewis as the Lassufre Hikers 28 for 2.
Yeah, and they're firmly in the driver's seat. They need 26 from just 12 deliveries. And Alanson, who is going to bowl? Who is the bowler you're going to turn to bowl the penultimate over of the innings? This is a key over.
Well, you already see that Hoyt is looking to be the one who's going to bowl this over. Denson Hoyt. And I think that he has it within his hands to determine how this game will go. So too will do the Douglas and Lewis. So this over is, in my opinion, will go a long way in deciding which team will be the happier at the end of the next 12 deliveries.
Yeah, he delivered a great over for his team, but he's going to be bowling to Dylan Douglas and Otniel Lewis. Man, they're smoking it right now.
Yes, they're not mistiming many, and even the ones that are not timed 100% are still going over the ropes.
I still have that last shot in my mind, Alanson. That was, as you said, outrageous. That was quite a wicked shot down the ground for 4 from Otniel Lewis. As you see, young Hoyt comes into bowl to Dylan Douglas. Just gets a single.
So the plan seems to be to go wide of the off stump, with the same fielder, 2 fielders behind square on the off side, and the third man two fielders behind square in the ring, and the third man back. So he's going to continue with this wide line. We saw that that shot by Douglas against Pope a couple of overs ago, to that type of delivery. But now brings Lewis on strike.
Excellent. excellent bowling there from young Hoyt under pressure, and he delivers a marvelous delivery in the black hole for his team. Brings Dylan Douglas back into strike. That wide line, we saw both batsmen. They were able to climb into that wide line. Otney Lewis previously and Dylan Douglas to Tijon Pope.
So the 100 up off 8.2 overs.
Hoyt
Would want to make things a bit more manageable in the last over. They would not want to go into the last over needing more than 15 or so runs. And even that will be quite challenging.
See, he attempted a big shot there, which they need to get a boundary somewhere in this over. Then they now need 23 of 8 balls. I think they should be looking to go on the offside. Just try to find that gap on the offside, because that's the line that he's bowling, and there's a wide gap between cover and the longer fielder. So if he gets it in there, I don't think Dylan Johnson is fast enough to stop that. Straight to the cover fielder. I think Dylan Douglas will be looking for a boundary. Where are his boundary options? This line that he's bowling, where are his boundary options?
Well, as you mentioned, it would be in the extra cover region and also over the two fielders in the circle at point. But if he's bowling that full length, it will be hard to get it over them. You'd have to try to get it between them, and there's not much of a gap between these two. It would need Lara-esque precision in terms of your placement to beat the two of them. Let's see how it goes. Six.
Oh, almost a stunning.
It is 6 runs.
Has that gone for 6?
He came in half the ground.
Let's see what happened here on the replay. That looked to be traveling. This is Sunil Ambris. He got around. He went over the rope. No, that's supposed to be 6 runs. That is 6 because that's supposed to be 6 because the fielder went over the rope to intercept it. But they don't have the benefit of the replay. The umpires don't have the benefit of the replay. So, we see 6 runs has been signaled by Afran Bayam. Rightly so. Good call from the umpires.
Yeah, he consulted with his senior umpire, Dighton Butler, and I think Sunil jumped from off the field. He took off from off the field there. As you saw, he was off the field, and then he jumped. So, if he had jumped from on the field,
yes,
then yeah, because it means that I could be in the stand and jump, take the catch, but don't fall on the ground, and then throw it back on the field for somebody to catch.
Yes, good call from umpire Afran Bayam, and really good to see the umpires going and having a chat with each other, because we don't have the benefit of the replay, and of course Butler was able to see better from his angle. So good call from the umpire. And so now they need to get 16 of this last over.
Yeah, so it's around where I thought they should be, around 15, 16. So it will still be a hard task for them to get it, but it's still possible for them to get these runs.
We saw yesterday the Botanical Gardens Rangers. They were able to get 16 off 6 from Tijon Pope. So 16 from 6 again.
Well, let's see what the young man has learned from his outing in the last game. Let's see if he can execute better in this one against Lewis and Douglas. As we look at the field, there's a deep point. There's a man at long off, a long on, a deep mid wicket, and a deep square leg. Both third man and fine leg are in the circle. So if he tries a Yorker and there's a little edge, either an inside edge or an outside edge, then it would speed away to the boundary for 4.
From the field that's set, it looks as if they're going to be asking him to bowl those Yorkers right in the black hole.
The 50 partnership is also up of 23 deliveries. Douglas, the main contributor.
It starts off with a wide, and they also get a single to boot. So not a good start here from Tijon Pope, as they now need 14 of 6 balls.
So it's 14 of 6, really, and I'm not too sure why Pope was opting for that line, considering the field that he has set. His fine leg is up, that's number 1. And although he has a deep set onside field, he has a 5-4 offside bias. So he really should be outside the off stump, based on his field set.
You know, if they get these runs, I'll go back to Dylan Johnson again, bowling the 8th over of the innings when he's the more experienced campaigner. I think that they should have him bowl the penultimate over, even the last over in the innings. But let's see how he goes here, young Pope. Outrageous shot from Dylan Johnson. Stand and deliver.
Yes, we saw
Douglas, sorry.
We saw that Douglas. This one was essentially a half volley, and that was hit where it was supposed to be, hit straight down the ground with a lot of confidence, and you saw him celebrating the shot to say, yes, I have got you, and now I am in the ascendancy.
Now they need just 8 or 5, and they're firmly in the driving seat here, the Lasufri Hikers. Young Pope is under some pressure again.
Yes, and we go back to the point that you were making before about Johnson bowling the penultimate over or the last over, or even Denson Hoyt. We saw Hoyt executing fairly well in his 9th over, and Pope under a lot of pressure. He went for a lot of runs in his first over, but probably they could have given him the opportunity, if he has to bowl again, to come in again before the last 2 or 3 overs.
Short ball. Douglas should have been looking to play that through the covers, but he opted to go across. Just get a single. They now need 7 or 4. It's still anybody's game from here on out. You know, young Pope could find his range and deliver for his team.
So
all Neil Lewis need is 1 hit to confirm it for the Lasufri Hikers. 7 or 4.
So Dylan Douglas has brought up his 50 of 17 deliveries. Second quickest 50 of the tournament so far.
Swing and a miss.
And they're going to be running for anything now.
Single. 6 of 3. I think the batsmen just need to calm down here. It's a bye. It's firmly in the batsman's favour. They just need to pick the delivery to dispatch for 6 or boundary. Important thing is keeping their eyes on the ball. And he's got it. Marvelously played from Dylan Douglas as he signs off his innings with style. The confidence of the young man, Dylan Douglas. Something about these two teams coming up against each other. They bring out the best in each other. You see a huge total being posted by the Salcon Breakers, but the last two Hikers, they went out and chased it with 2 balls to spare.
And that is 56 not out for Dylan. And that's a serious innings, an innings of note there from the young man. He took that one, he deposited it well over the square leg boundary for 6. And he's such a clean striker. He's a batsman who has so many shots. He has shots all around the wicket. It's very hard, man, to stop. As we saw there that he dispatched a few overs ago, a nigh on perfect wide Yorker over long off for 6, swing himself off his feet to do so. So he has the ability to do the amazing, and that's something that the young man has, and he needs. And even as I'm speaking here, I'm thinking about the possibilities for him and his future. And I think, if he puts his head down and applies himself, then there's no limit to where he can reach in cricket.
Yeah, Tom, I used to describe him as prodigious, and he's showing why I describe him as such. With the way he was able to come out and calmly chase down the score for his team today. Dylan Douglas, he's a man that you should be looking out for in the rest of this tournament. Anthony Lewis supported him as well. As you see the scorecard, the Salpon Breakers, and the Joseph, he made 32 from 20. Rickford Walker, 30 from 12 deliveries. Dylan Johnson, 18 from 7 deliveries. And Oziko Williams, 12 of 9 deliveries. As you see, Straw, excellent bowling from him. 2 for 10 runs of his 2 deliveries. Lewis, 2 for 18 of his 2 overs. Harry, 1 over 19 runs. And Matthews, 1 over 22 runs. And the last 2 free hikers, Dylan Douglas again, 56 of just 18 deliveries. Excellent batting from him. And we see he was supported by Salvan Brown early on, 34 from 22. And Anthony Lewis, 18 from 10. Muldowney, he wasn't able to get off today, but no need. He only made 8 of 8 deliveries. And you see the bowling card of the Salpon Breakers. Captain again, Sunil Ambris, 2 overs, 1 over, 1 run, 1 wicket, 20 runs. Hoyt, 1 wicket, 27 runs, 2 overs. Samuel, no wicket, 18 runs, 2 overs. And Dylan Johnson, no wicket, 19 runs from his 2 overs. And the last 2 free hikers won by 8 wickets, chasing down a total of 124 with 2 balls to spare.
Yes, and Stacey, at the end there, we got caught up a little bit with the excitement because, we are looking at this game, and, it was a remarkable performance by Douglas. We're going back to the first innings and those 2 overs by Straw for only 10 runs. He made the target reachable. And I know the Lasso Free Hikers is a team that has the biggest following, I think, among the fans. Yeah, I think they have a very big following, and a lot of persons will be quite happy after their 2 losses that they have rebounded in such fashion. And, just a thought about the innings of Dylan Douglas.
Yeah, excellent batting from him. But I'll go back to what we mentioned earlier. Dylan Johnson, the Salpon Breakers have got to rethink their strategy a bit. I think so. I'm not sure what they'll be thinking. Dylan Johnson, I think, with his experience, he's played for West Indies. He's played for West Indies A team. He's a Windward Island. He's played for Windward Islands. So he has a lot of experience. So I think he should be looking to bowl the penultimate over, the last over. Of course, you want to see the youngsters performing under pressure. But we see this is the second time Tijan Pope has been unable to defend for his team in the last over.
Yes, yeah, you make a very good point in terms of the use of Dylan, and that's something that they would have to think about. I know Coach Jackson and Dylan himself, and of course his skipper Ambrose, that they think a lot about the game. They have a lot of experience among the 3 of them, and this is something I think that they were thinking that they could stem the runs to a point where they would put it out of the reach of the hikers for the last few overs. However, the flip side of that is that once you have played out the rest of the bowling, and you're thinking to yourself, well, I've played Johnson, I've played out Ambrose, and I have 3 or 4 overs remaining. I have 3 overs remaining or so left, and I am going to be facing the most inexperienced bowlers. If I get on a roll, I'm thinking if I'm Dylan Douglas, and I'm thinking if I get on a roll, or Anthony Lewis, then I could take one of these other bowlers apart, even if I need 15 runs, 20 runs off the over. And so said, so done.
Yeah, we saw that today. But Allenson, this tournament, we've been treated to some breathtaking matches. We know it's going to continue tomorrow. Another day has been completed marvelous day of cricket tomorrow. The Salpan Breakers, they're coming up against the Botanical Gardens Rangers, who was able to get the best of them in their previous match. And then the Lasupre Hikers, they're going to take on top of the table Dark View Explorers tomorrow. So please tune in to another exciting day of cricket. We're coming to you live from the Odyssey